Welcome back to Absolute Joy. I'm Michael Joy, and we are telling long, short stories about my survival of art school and all the things around art school. In one lunch period, I put together my performance, and it ended up where I was shooting earplugs out of my nose and being fed bananas while standing on my head. It's just truly embarrassing, and oh God, it's on videotape somewhere. All right, I'll tell you the story. I'm gonna have to close my eyes when I tell you, but I'll tell you the story. Okay, so in art school, 4D is for the craziest. These are people who want more attention than I know what to say about. I mean, just go to acting school or something. But 4D was truly about you can leverage your insanity and be okay. And if you like castrate yourself on stage, people are like, very nice, very nice. It was weird. It was a very weird culture. And I remember I was being told from a friend of mine who was also in 4D, and they're like, yeah, they didn't know what to do with this girl. She got up there and she got really into this movement piece and dancing, and then she pulls out a knife and she starts stabbing the floor. And they're like, I said, were they worried she was gonna stab somebody? And they're like, no, they were worried about the floor. She chewed up that really expensive dance floor. And I'm like, yeah, that's art school, man. That's crazy stuff. Now, I had a different form of crazy. My form of crazy in performing arts was I was full of resentment and I wanted to shock people, just with my distaste for it. And I think the students knew that because there was this one Egyptian student there, and she called upon us, and one time she says, I would like you to play God in this performance, and you stand behind the screen. Oh man, what a setup. So I'm like, come on, can't you choose somebody else? And she's like, no, it's good, you know, you got a deep voice, go for it. So I'm standing behind the screen, and then people start asking me like these really life questions. I don't have a freaking answer at all. And so I just make up stuff, and their critique of the performance was about me, not her. I'm like, it's her performance. They're like, yeah, but your answers weren't really good. I'm not God. You expected some art student to have the answers? I'm like, Jesus, joke is on you. You know, come on, what are you talking about? And I remember when I was asked to do my first performance, I was so mad at the crowd. They said, okay, Michael, it's Lynn. Lynn was the teacher's name. She said, okay, Michael, it's your turn. And I said, okay. In my mind, I'm like, game on, you sorry sons of bitches. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need all the girls to sit over here, all the boys to sit over here. So they separate. I said, okay, now if you're first year, I need you to be here. So, okay, it's fourth year. So, okay, oh, you guys, you know what? It's too heavy over this. So I just arranged the class for about 7 minutes. And then I said, that's my performance. I said, don't f with me. So they were warned. The teacher was like, ha. And I'm like, you said anything goes. So she said, I'll expect more from you in your next performance. So we go through the class, and they have all these exercises, and it got to the point where I was supposed to give my final performance, like the final exam. And I had not come up with anything at all. So I had a very long lunch hour, and I said, can I be the last one to go? And they said yes. So I ran around the school really fast to pick up some things. I found a partially built wooden bird feeder in the woodshop class. There was craft paper, you know, the rolls of brown paper in the classroom. My friend had her sack lunch. I went to the woodshop. They also had earplugs. I went across the street to the cultural center, which at the time you could check out records, literal records. And so I got a record on Japanese Kyoto music, I don't know. You know, that sort of stuff. And so what I started to do was I had my friend help me make a paper kimono. And so in the back during the class, I was cutting out a pattern. So I made these brown paper pants with these paper boots with these long points and a vest, and just stapled it together. And so I was wearing this paper outfit. And people saw me making this thing, and they're like, oh, Jesus. And I stayed on. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then so my turn came, and then I started doing this dance, very, martial arty, and they thought that was the performance, that I made the costume, and I went and got the record, and I said, oh no, it's not done yet. And so I very ceremoniously went over, and I got the bird feeder, and I put it here. And then I had the earplugs, and I put them here. And then I got on my head against the wall, and I grabbed the earplugs, and I put them in my nose, and I shot them over my head towards the bird feeder. Now, I missed with the first one, but I just picked up the other one. I'm like, you get the point. And I tossed it, and it made it in the bird feeder. And I'd given my friend a cue, and I said, if I get it in the bird feeder, well, here's what you do. So then I holler, service me. She came over, and she peeled the banana, and she jammed it in my mouth and broke it off. But when I tried to swallow the banana upside down, I was having trouble. And so anyways, I don't remember how the performance finished, because I was cracking up. And so we talked about it. I don't remember what was said at all about the critique, because you have to realize that every movement that I made, I was ruffling in this paper kimono. And I even remember when I knelt down to set up my birdhouse, and I had these big, long, pointy boots, and I had to fold them under. And everything was very ceremonious, and it was very spit spot, I have to say. I had good moves in those days. And can't remember anything about the class other than I ran into Lynn, the performance art teacher, years later. And she's like, hi, Michael. And I'm like, Lynn? What? She's like, I remember. She said, you can't forget that. And so I'm like, oh, that's good. Well, the alternative to that performance is I was simply going to tape someone to a post, but I didn't think that was going to get very far. Anyways, yeah, so Fran Signorano, Fran, I know you moved to Florida. Fran ended up designing Katya's wedding ring, actually. She was a jeweler, but she has the videotape of this. Yeah, so that was it. That's his art school. So I decided, when in crazy, be crazy. So that's what I did.
That's brave. That is very brave.
Is it brave? The service me got them. That got hilarious because,
What was the reaction of the audience?
They were very surprised when I shouted that, and then they peeled the banana, and it was so overtly sexual. And I was, I'm not gay, so it was even funnier. I'm like, well, if she hadn't had a banana, it would have been something else. So, yeah, I remembered with a twinkle in my eye, performance class. But I just wanted to get out of that class as fast as possible. So, moral of the story, when somebody films you doing something crazy, acquire the tape as fast as possible so that it may be controlled under your own pretenses. Art students especially. No nude photo shoots unless you own the negatives. Oh my God.